Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the DCL Show, your source for Disney Cruise news and reviews. Coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined in the studio this week by my good friends, Dreams Unlimited travel agent Elaine Edwards.
Hi, friends.
And our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Ahoy, hoy.
And just a reminder, this show, along with all the content we produce, brought to you by DreamsUnlimitedTravel.com. If you like our content, if you like the stuff that we put out, show your support, book your next Disney Cruise Line vacation, your next Disney World, Disneyland, Adventures by Disney vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel, because that's how I pay for it. And this week, we thought we took our inspiration from a thread over on disboards.com. What's something you wish you had done differently on your last cruise? Which I thought was great. We'll have a link to this thread in the show notes. This was started by Foolish Mortal. And got quite a few responses here. So we'll go through some of those, and talk about some of our own. We were talking right before we started recording today about things we wish we had done on our last cruise. And honestly, for me, I stopped doing the shows a while ago. And, you know, when you've been on as many Disney cruises as I've been on, you've seen them. You've been there, done that. But it's been so long since I've seen them, because that's been my attitude, is I'm not going to a show. That because even when I was on the ship last month, I was saying to myself, you should really go too. Mm-hmm. Because my friend who was cruising with me, he went and did them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, just go with them. No. So this next one, I'm making a point to do at least one.
I felt the same way on my last cruise, and we went into, I think it was Believe, is what we went into. And I accidentally fell asleep. I slept through it. I was so tired. There is no tired like a Disney Cruise Line tired.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I sleep good on that ship.
I will say, though, you just brought up a great point. Like, if you've seen them a lot of times and you think you're done, I don't know, something about the placement of the theaters on those ships, and when you're actually sailing and it starts rocking, if you're sitting towards the back of the theaters or up in the balcony on the bigger ships, it's like it's rocking you to sleep in a good way, do not go and sit first, second, third row and take a nap in front of the performers, because they can definitely see you at that point. So don't do that. That would be completely rude. But you
sit me in any room that's dark and cold, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't care. You could be singing right in my face, and I'm going to sleep right through it. So I kind of get that.
Yeah, and it was bad, like, in the first 5 minutes. I have no idea what that show's about.
Can I tell you, I've never watched a movie on a Disney cruise?
Well, that was going to be mine. I have tried every single time, and I thought my last cruise, it happened to be on our final night, was the night that that would have been coming back on a Thursday or Friday. So on Thursday night, that was the grand premiere of Frozen 2. So we got the premiere at sea. The people who got seats in the actual movie theater, they got to see the movie, but the overflow was in the theater, but they couldn't get the projector to work in it. So they just kept delaying and pushing it back. And finally we got to the point where, like, we can't just sit around and wait to maybe watch a movie that we already had tickets for anyways, for when we got back on land. But so I thought that was going to be my first time ever getting to actually see a movie at sea, and I was so excited for it, and I didn't. I mean, granted, yeah, I've watched stuff up in the funnel vision, bits and pieces, and the only other time I stepped foot in a theater and watched something actually was when that one cruise that we took, the double dip on the Fantasy, the 3-night double dip, when the motor broke on our way back. So we that day we were supposed to get back to port in the morning like normal, but I think our cruise was delayed by like 4 or 5 hours. So we got in more at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so for a little while, they were still showing the movie. So I popped in the theater for like 10 minutes and watched a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy, I think.
Well, something else I've never done, which is watch a movie on the funnel vision thing. Like, I want to try that at some point.
Yeah. Especially what's really nice is in the evening. And right now, how they're doing the fireworks shows in the evening, they do the fireworks and then they have a little dance party afterwards. And then they set up the chairs, and it's so nice at night because it's quiet and the neons are on and the ship's rocking and it's all cozy because you can snuggle up and watch it and everything.
Guaranteed to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I wish it was a better setup for movies at night on the funnel vision, because the one time that I did not Viking, Princess, when we did Alaska, they did a featured movie on their top deck every single night. And so you're, sailing up to Alaska. So it's freezing. So you're wrapped up on the top deck in blankets and watching a movie. I was like, I like this. But with Disney, because there is so much entertainment on the top deck, it's a little bit harder. But I'll also watch a football game up there if that's where they're showing it. But yeah, funnel vision.
Yeah.
So what's one of the things you wish you'd done on your last cruise?
Made it a longer cruise.
I was going to say that too.
Honestly, I feel like when I get off the ship, I'm like, there was so much I wanted to do and I didn't do it. Like, I feel like time just went by so fast. And I when we got on, we had all of these lists of things. We're like, okay, we got to make sure we do this, and we're going to make sure we do this, and we're going to make sure we do this. And it's like, I feel like the cruise just flew by.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do everything you wanted to do. And I will tell you what is very, very, very common that we see is that when people are on the cruise, they're checking on availability for the sailing immediately after because they don't want to get off the ship. And they book the back-to-back.
On the cruise.
On the cruise for the next cruise. It happens a lot.
I was going to ask that because on the thread, one of the moderators, Cam Colt, said on our last night we were in Evolution, and I asked my husband, do you think we can book tomorrow's cruise to do back-to-backs? I wish I had just gone ahead and booked it and stayed on the ship, but I was like, if you book on the ship, will they really just let you stay on for a back-to-back?
I guess. I mean, there's a lot of people that do it.
Wow.
So they must.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never be able to do that, but...
Now, I don't know with the current protocols and, having to upload your information to Safe Passage and all of that, but I will tell you before times, yes, very common.
Wow. Well, some of the things mentioned in this cruise, or in this thread, Aquadame says, I always wish we'd gone to Palo earlier in the trip. After a couple of days of eating, I find I'm really not interested in full meals anymore. Also, always wish I could stay up later, but at the end of a sunny, jam-packed day, I'm always beat.
Both of them, yes. One of the things that I was regretting was not going to Vanellope's and getting like a giant ice cream sundae. But I was always so full because of exactly what they said. There's so much food, you get to the point that you almost can't eat anymore.
Well, and with Palo in particular, when the food is good in the main dining room, like if Palo is later on in your cruise, it is a little bit more disappointing because I mean the food is still a step up, but after a couple good meals in the dining room, it's like it's not that much of a jump anymore. Whereas when it's like your second day in and you go to Palo, it's like, okay, this is an experience, especially with brunch and filling up to your heart's content. But yeah, that's too much food, too quick.
Yes,
can be bad.
Crow Mama says, I tried to do too many activities. I don't go to shows. That's usually my time to hit the Aqueduct or go to bars, Cove Cafe, but crafts, trivia, drawing, and bingo type things dominated my schedule, and I always felt rushed and had to be constantly checking the time. I can see that too.
It's kind of I kind of feel both ways on this because, you look at the navigator and you look at the schedule and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. But then I get like decision fatigue because there's so many things I want to do.
Right.
And I can't make a decision. And then I miss stuff and I get disappointed. But like, I'll tell you what, you cannot have too much of that bingo on that ship. That is so fun.
Bingo is great.
That is so fun.
They need to schedule in mandatory like bathroom time though on that, because that's the one part that I run into, because I will pack my schedule. Like you can tell the people who are like Disney World theme park goers that, don't like a slow vacation, the ones who wanted to book fast pass, those are the same crazy people on the cruise who are sitting there tapping their feet under the table being like, can you get through dinner? I've got bingo to hit right after, or I've got trivia to hit right after. Like I fall into that category, and it's the one thing I never leave time for. It's like basic stuff. Like I'm just gonna have to hold it. I'm gonna have to ruin my kidneys, because if I miss hearing even one question in trivia for a game I might not even be playing, I will ruin part of my night. I might have deeper issues, though. I don't know about that.
Yeah, you do.
I think so.
You do. One of the things mentioned on this thread by a number of people is that they wish they had done their breakfasts in the main dining rooms versus doing it at Cabanas. And the reason given, they found the breakfasts were better.
They are. They're really good.
They are very, very, very good.
And I was worried. I tried breakfast in the main dining room, not on your last day, but actually during the cruise recently. And I was worried that it was going to take time away from getting off the ship and going to Castaway Cay and that kind of thing, that it was going to take a long time, but it really wasn't. You ordered and your food was ready very fast. So
oh, yeah.
It didn't take extra time at all, and the food was so much better.
I've only done the main dining room for breakfast on the final day when we're getting off the ship. Is it similar to that, like any other day, or is it even higher quality? Because that always feels like rushed. Like, here, we'll throw it out to you.
On debarkation day, on your last day, yeah, it is. But during the cruise, no, it's not. And I find it's absolutely true. The food in the main dining rooms for breakfast better than Cabanas. No, hands down.
Yeah, so for me, if I'm awake that early, it's usually because I'm rushing to get off the ship, so I wouldn't have time to actually sit down for breakfast. But I need to give that a shot next time. It just really hasn't ever crossed my mind. I have my routine with Cabanas. I go up, I get my eggs, it's the only time I will eat the disgusting hash that they serve on Disney Cruise Line and Cabanas. I will not eat it any other time of the year, but when I'm on DCL, I do load up with bacon and everything greasy to fight that morning hangover, and then I am good to go again. So there's
a theme here.
No, this one I will admit, while Disney Cruise Line is not a booze cruise, that does not mean I don't get hangovers because I'm not drinking enough water throughout the day. I just need to be better about drinking water and staying hydrated, so that way the 2 beers that I have won't ruin my next morning.
Or when you get overserved at bingo. Just saying.
That's a story you can't wait to tell the kids when you get off the cruise. Remember that time I was overserved at bingo?
Yeah, so I mean, that's generally the theme of this thread. I mean, little things.
Right. There was one that I really liked that is 100% true, and I need to take the advice. Mouse Fan 73 said, "Pack less shoes. I always bring too many," and that...
Oh, I can't talk about that.
Now that she had read that, yes, laundry is open again, it would have saved me packing so much clothes.
No.
I am a serial overpacker.
Look, here's the deal. You must have at least 2 outfits for every day.
True.
You must bring options because you don't know what mood you're going to be in.
True.
That requires packing a lot of stuff.
It does.
I bring 2 huge suitcases on a 4-night cruise. and I'm not about doing laundry on a cruise ship. I mean, I may send something out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially if stuff has to get pressed. I'll send it out. I'm not going to sit there.
No, as someone who has done way too much laundry on cruise ships, it is not fun. I mean, yeah, if you are close to the laundry room and you can just go back to your stateroom and there's not a bunch of people fighting for the machines, it's not that bad. But even like, I make sure that your clothes are pressed even at home and try to keep them as nice as possible, because when you're on like a nicer night where everyone wants to iron their clothes, that line is always ridiculous. And
Send
it's
them
just
out.
I would say laundry only if you absolutely have to. If you cannot avoid having to go to the
even
laundry,
to have
just
them
bring more
pressed.
clothes.
Even to have them pressed. I will take. I don't worry about it. I pack whatever I'm going to pack. As soon as I get there, it's the first thing I do. Send my shirts and my slacks out to be pressed. They come back in a few hours if you do the express. Come back in a few hours, hung up, all nice and neat in your closet, everything pressed to perfection. I don't have to worry about it. The cruise is about not worrying about stuff.
That's true.
I don't want to worry about laundry. I don't want to worry about ironing. I don't want to worry about anything. If I want that, I'll stay here.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about I'll pay the money, press my clothes.
Yeah. If you're trying to fit 5 people in a stateroom and you're packed for space, I get trying to be a little bit more conservative in your room with that. But Disney Cruise Line is also so good about finding all these different compartments for you to hide your clothes in, and plenty of storage in the room. So if you feel like you're overpacking, it's not as big of a deal as you think. I mean, if you're carrying your bags on the ship and off the ship, that's a different case. You're going to regret overpacking at that point in time. But I've done the cruises where I go in with the bare minimum, and I had to borrow shirts from Corey on one cruise before.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have enough, and I didn't have time to do laundry too.
Well, you're also straight, and it's what you people do. You underpack, you wear wrinkled shirts. It's the way of your people.
Oh, I think arguably the time I dress up the most is on cruises. And I pride myself on that. Like, I'm not dressing up like the captain by any means, but I try to keep up with my appearance a little bit more. It's a special time. You might as well make it special.
Tell me about it. I'm having boxes of clothes delivered right now. Because I need new. I can't wear the same clothes I've worn on the last 2 cruises. They'll talk about me behind my back. He's repeating outfits. I've seen you in that 3 times now. That's what the crew members will say. I'm kidding.
I like one more, though, too, from Pixar fans. It said, talked about how just like the parks, each trip is different, but one thing they'd say is more room service. And that's one thing I would say, too, that I never do enough of. I might have, on Disney, I might have only done it like once, maybe twice, but the rooms, your staterooms on DCL are so amazing. Why not take advantage of being in there as much as possible? Yeah, you're paying for the amenities and everything, but I love just hanging out in those rooms. So yeah, maybe I need to start adding room service to my routine a little bit more, even if it is just a Mickey bar or whatever.
Well, I mean, just ordering coffee in the morning, it's an entire experience because they bring it up on a trolley, and it's this tray that's all presented, and it's
the
gorgeous,
problem
and you
is,
can sit on your veranda and drink it.
and the problem is the coffee they're bringing you isn't brewed with water; it's brewed with urine. That's the only thing that can possibly explain the taste of that awful, awful, awful coffee. Now, if Cove Cafe will start doing room delivery,
Cove Cafe
different
is
story.
amazing.
Cove Cafe is where you get your coffee, because the other stuff is from concentrate. It's the Nescafe concentrate, or now maybe Joffrey's concentrate. I don't know, but it's concentrate added, hot water added, tastes like crap. Oh my God!
Yeah, they're sludging the engines and putting
coffee.
the oil in it.
Don't order coffee. It's not an experience. Just call and order cookies instead, because they will bring you cookies and milk.
There you go. All sorts of things you can do. Like I said, we'll have a link to this thread in the show notes down below. And that will do it for this episode of our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week with another episode of the DCL Show. Have a great week, folks.